Why didn't you just tell them where the microfilm was and create a solution?
The moment they had the microfilm, they'd suicide me. Some solution.
Ended up here.
Which brings me to another question. You broke out. Let me see if I can get this straight. You went down the incinerator chute, on the mine car, through the tunnels to the power plant, under the steam engine. That was really cool, by the way. And into the cistern through the intake pipe, but how, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell? I only ask because in our current situation, well, it could prove to be useful information. Maybe!
A modern day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Layer Kick, a Coen Brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel, Alvin and the Chipmunks deserving of the squeakquel. There's so many new ways to revisit sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
On our last film beginning with the letter R, we rambled about the raucous wrestling film Ready to Rumble. The comedy starred David Arquette, Scott Conn, Rose McGowan, Oliver Platt, Martin Landau, and Joe Pantoliano, aka Joey Pants. Joey was born in 1951 in Hoboken, New Jersey, eventually moving to Cliffside Park. His New Jersey roots no doubt helped him land the role of Ralph Cifaretto in The Sopranos, for which he won an Emmy Award. Fans of Joey Pants would also remember him from hits like Memento, The Matrix, The Goonies, Risky Business, Baby's Day Out, and Bad Boys, the directorial debut of Los Angeles-born director and action movie superstar Michael Bay, who followed up Bad Boys with this episode's film. Greetings, Starfighters. This is Ruined Childhoods, and on this episode we're talking about the unforgettable action classic The Rock, the story of a chemical expert played by Nicolas Coppola, aka Nick Cage, and his adventure breaking into Alcatraz to stop a domestic terrorist from poisoning the entire Bay Area. Dan, what's your favorite Nick Cage movie?
Oh, fuck. Oh, man, you're hitting me with that question. Wow, so many. I'm sorry I got caught. I'm sorry, I'm caught off. I can't let this go. You ran through Joe Pantoliano's highlights of his career highlights.
You can only name a few. There's so many.
Yeah, but you know what? La Bamba is 3 syllables.
Okay.
And he's that was my introduction to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
The Goonies wasn't your introduction to him?
Okay, The Goonies was my introduction to him. But anyway, you know I love La Bamba.
Okay, I'm sorry, La Bamba.
I was waiting for
but Nick Cage was not in La Bamba, so...
No, Nick Cage was not in La Bamba, but all right, so favorite Nick Cage movie. My head is spinning right now just because of so
do you want me to give you a genre parameter? What's your favorite Nick Cage action movie, your favorite Nick Cage drama, or, cerebral weirdo movie?
Okay. All right. So if I go with, and this is really just going off the top of my head, I'm sure that there are things that I'm going to forget, but if we go with favorite Nick Cage action flick, I'd have to go, I think Con Air.
Con Air is a good one.
I mean, unless there's one I'm forgetting that I like better, but Con Air is probably, I would say, the favorite of the Nick Cage action flicks. The cerebral weird Nick Cage stuff, I'd probably go with Adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most cerebral.
Because there's the weird, and then there's also just all the like Raising Arizona, Wild at Heart. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic in Moonstruck. That's not one that comes to my mind as my personal favorite Nick Cage movie, but I think of the ones that I've seen over at Raising Arizona, Con Air, the ones that we've just mentioned. Adaptation, maybe not as much. It's not as much of a background movie, which is where those other ones really get, Raising Arizona is just, it's like listening to music.
It's a comfort movie, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that I would say that's probably where I land on that. I'm trying to think if there's another there's so many weird, like Vampire's Kiss is such a weird one.
So much fun.
Again, doesn't quite land on the favorites, and there's Face Off and there's The Rock and all that. But I'm gonna take a look at the Cage filmography here. And just kind of see, like, what am I forgetting? Because this guy, if you think was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, his
he had a small role. I
mean, but if you think, all right, if that was his debut, like, we're talking a long career, and this guy has done so much. Like, you look at his filmography, there's all the things that pop up when you're scrolling, when you're looking at streaming services, and it's like all the stuff you've never heard of, but it's like, oh, there's Nick Cage is in that, and Nick Cage is in that. But then there's things like Dream Scenario, which was more of a, prestige.
Another super cerebral one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it was great movie.
I loved it.
But he does, like, Renfield, which
was so much fun.
That I haven't seen. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which was great.
So much fun.
But also, like, Pig. He does, like,
Pig is fantastic.
But it's so different, and Pig is so understated. And Pig is a great example. It's a great example of the Nicolas Cage film actor. Like that, like, oh yeah, no, this guy won himself an Academy Award, and like, opinions are everything. So maybe you think he should have won it for Leaving Las Vegas, maybe not. I remember seeing Leaving Las Vegas in the theater and being,
it's a heavy one.
Yeah, but also that was that was college. That was like freshman year of college, sophomore year of college, when I was into all that, when it was like, it was like, oh boy, acting is happening in this. And it was also like anything that our acting teacher recommended to us. And I remember her telling us about going to see Leaving Las Vegas. And the his, not just his performance, Elizabeth Shue is outstanding.
Right.
In it. But I remember it just being, so powerful. I mean, that was also like, I feel like I didn't see them as a double feature, but like that and Dead Man Walking.
Okay.
We're out at the same time. So we got two of our Fast Times alums right there battling it out for like actor of the year. I can't even think of who else would have been nominated in 1985 for Best Actor, because I don't think 1995, sorry. Because I don't think Tom Hanks got nominated for Apollo 13, though of course Ed Harris did. Right. Yeah. But all right, getting back to Nick Cage, I'm still scrolling down. I'm not even at 2010 Dan. Yet. John, what's Dan. Your favorite?
Dan. Okay, here we go, Dan. VX gas in your mouth. Someone's got their hand on your jaw, ready to smash it, and they ask you. You say one Nick Cage movie. What's it going to be?
Adaptation.
Okay, there we go.
Of course, as I'm saying it, I'm scrolling down and I'm like, oh damn, Bringing Out the Dead. That one's no. I say adaptation. I'd say
Adaptation's a really good one.
I'd say adaptation, right? Honeymoon in Vegas, also so much fun.
So much fun.
Right. That was the Elvis period, because Wild at Heart, he also kind of did like an Elvis thing in that. Man, I mean, but just like, have you ever seen Birdie?
I haven't seen Birdie, no.
You haven't seen Birdie? Yeah, check out Birdie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Maybe
Fantastic.
When we get back to our B movie.
I mean, yeah, that's a heavy movie to watch. A wonderful performance also by Matthew Modine.
Oh, I love Matthew Modine.
Don't we all?
Matthew and Modine, two of Jim and Eagle's children, another one of which, of course, is Mason, but we'll get to Mason shortly.
Yeah, so John, what's your favorite? All right, the things in your mouth right now.
I think Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men is great. How do you
I think it might be Matchstick Men, because I feel like Matchstick Men is one where it kind of covers a lot of bases for me. It covers a lot of ground. I love a good, con artist movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Nick Cage, it's Sam Rockwell, and it's Alison Lohman. And it's
Ridley Scott directing.
Yeah. And it's fantastic. I really like it.
I remember it being a very it's not a movie I've gone back to a lot. I think just because it in it being so good and effective also kind of pissed me off.
Oh, okay.
I remember being pissed off and like, how could you do that to him?
No.
But like, I remember it being so understated, and it's one of those that you really forget because Ridley Scott, I mean, the guy's career has run the gamut, but
yeah,
understated and subtle are not two adjectives you usually associate with his filmmaking.
Right.
But Matchstick Men is so that it's like it's such like a, I don't know, quote unquote indie movie.
Yeah. It's very bare bones. It's really a cast of three. I think Beth Grant might also be in it. Like briefly, but like it's pretty much just the three of them.
Right.
And
right.
And it's, it's stylized, but it's very effective.
But it's all in the I feel like it's all in this, like the script. It's not,
yeah.
It's in the script. It's in the performances.
Yeah. And also I've heard Nicolas Cage talk about how much he enjoyed, that film and would love to revisit that one. So, I mean,
well, all right, maybe when we get to M, there's a couple of M's in there. There you go.
But also it's just like, from the mouth of somebody who's done like so many movies, and not just so many incredible movies that are super memorable, to call out that one, which to a lot of people might be an outlier, I think is a good barometer for, how much people should be paying attention to it. Just a thought. Also, Sam Rockwell's, he's been having a moment for quite a while, but I feel like he's even more having a moment now.
Well, but the Sam, I think I remember like the Sam Rockwell early 2000s was like the time where it was like people were really, he had a few, Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels, yeah.
So like he had some big some exposure, but it was really kind of like, people were getting really hip to him and his work, and Matchstick Men was a big one. Yeah,
he was in Green Mile, right? Yep, Green Mile. He's great. We love Sam Rockwell. Yeah. Well, Dan, let's talk a little bit about the movie of the week, The Rock. I know that
The Rock.
I typically ask, have you seen this one before? Obviously, you've seen this one before. How could this one be avoided at all? It's impossible.
Yeah, I did not see it in the theater, however.
Really?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, because I looked at when it came out, and it was like I was going to see everything.
I say June 7th, 96.
Yeah, it was June 7th, 96. It opened. Its only opening weekend competition was The Phantom, and it was.
We'll be talking about Billy Zane.
Oh yes,
soon.
Oh yeah. So it opened against the Phantom, and then like it's other like the top three at the box office. It was The Rock, and then Mission Impossible, which had been which was in its third week, and then Twister, which was in its fifth week.
I mean, what a great summer for movies. Independence Day. Like, wow.
I think even the lesser, like Eraser is one that's from that summer. That's kind of, it's a little, it's not the Schwarzenegger. It's not a True Lies Schwarzenegger.
Right.
It's a lesser Schwarzenegger, if you will, but it's still fun. A great James Caan villain role, which was
Vanessa Williams in that one.
Vanessa Williams, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I sometimes conflate Eraser and End of Days, because I feel like I don't know what year End of Days came out, but
99.
I feel like Yeah, I don't know. Like
it was very much like Y2K, like kind of like it's going to be the year 2000. Like what's going to happen? The devil could come in the form of Gabriel Byrne, and we don't know. Yeah, yeah, and
obviously. Yeah.
So, but summer. I mean, but summer '96 definitely had had its big impact. I mean, obviously, like we just talked about, Mission Impossible, which has its possibly its 8th installment in theaters now. Twister, which had its like legacy sequel in theaters last summer. We'll come back to this in a little bit, but
sure.
But anyway, I think to get back to why I didn't see it in theaters, if coming back to my like college student, and I don't know how much credibility this has, because I did go see like Independence Day in theaters and Twister and Mission Impossible, like them all. But I feel like I remember being a little kind of like miffed that like Oscar winner Nicolas Cage, and Oscar nominee, like that year, like that, because the Oscars, the 96 Oscars it was Leaving Las Vegas, Apollo 13. So it's like all of like these incredible actors, and then it's just like, oh, and they're just squandering their credibility. Now that's 1996 me talking.
Right. Just really quickly, because you mentioned it, one of my favorite movie going experiences was the summer of 96, because I went to it was a double feature, and it was the first movie was That Thing You Do, which I love. And then after that, they were showing a preview of Independence Day. It was at the Cranford Theater where we grew up, which I hope is doing okay, because it had a recent kind of catastrophe.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status is, but there was like a weird thing that they were doing where it's like, if you go see That Thing You Do, there will be a special presentation of like a movie that's coming out like next weekend or something like that.
Are you sure it wasn't the other way around?
It might have been the other way around.
Because I remember, I'm just checking right now, because I remember That Thing You Do coming out in the fall. That came out in October.
So then it must have been the other way around.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely a double feature where like one of them was like an advanced showing
of That Thing You Do.
Yeah. It must have been That Thing You Do.
That would make, but that totally make, I mean, same.
Yeah.
It's Fox.
I mean, it's possible that they showed them in, That Thing You Do first. And then, because I feel like I remember That Thing You Do being first, and then
like, come see this, like a sneak preview of this and stick around for,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. Which I guess
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sounds like a lot of, that's a lot of movie.
I don't think that I saw The Rock in the theaters. It's an R-rated movie. I was, 13 at the time. I don't think that I was allowed to go and do that, but I certainly remember watching it on DVD or probably VHS before then, and having a blast. I mean, I probably saw it on HBO or whatever before then, but man, what a good time this movie is.
It's one of those that I think the first time I saw it, I didn't love it, possibly because it was that time, and that was my mentality going into these, and like really also just not loving Michael Bay, though I loved Armageddon when I saw it in 98. So who knows?
Well, I mean, this is Michael Bay's second movie.
Yeah, actually, and I hadn't seen Bad Boys at the time.
We didn't quite know who he was yet.
No.
Yeah.
No. Just the director of music videos, like
and the director of a commercial featuring our boy Sean Whalen, who we talked about on Tammy and the T-Rex. The Arenberg Got Milk commercial was Michael Bay.
Oh, Michael Bay did that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I remember he did like his music videos. Did he do like I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That? Was that one of his?
I mean, you would have to go back to our episode on Meatloaf music videos.
I'm like, or like,
literally
I think like
Jim
Janie's,
Steinman music videos.
Janie's Got a Gun. I think was one of it. It's got the Michael Bay style to it.
Right, where it's a lot of like, you know, quick take, like quick shots and like low angles and Dutch angles and stuff and like tons of coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at his it's funny, like his videos around, or like all of these songs that like I've never heard of, like a Vanilla Ice song called I Love You.
Okay.
Oh, he did a few for Vanilla Ice. Yeah. Oh, he did the video for I Touch Myself by the Divinals. Okay. Love Thing, Tina Turner. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Meatloaf, I'd do anything for love, but I won't do. He did Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through. I did quite a few from Bat Out of Hell too.
Gotcha. Okay.
But possibly not. When did Janie's Got a Gun come? And
you know, when I'm thinking about those, I feel like the vision in my head is kind of, yes, there are certain like Michael Bay aspects to them, but I also think of a lot of like Joel Schumacher-y, you know, a lot of like, you know, light pouring in through windows,
right,
and, you know, steam and stuff like that. And so it makes a lot of sense that, you know, Michael Bay would turn into the action director that he became.
People very well styled, well coiffed.
Right. And also The Rock, you have to understand that like the actors who are in there are they're truly like trying to do a good job acting and embody these characters, and it's not just a throwaway paycheck kind of a thing.
Right.
Because with the actors who are in like everybody is in this thing. Literally every actor is in this movie.
Well, and you know what? I actually have quite a few points that I want to make about like on that note. Should I jump in with a synopsis here?
Do a synopsis, please.
We can dig in. So yeah, because definitely a lot of notes on the cast and what they lend to this. So let's get the plot here, because oh boy, this is you might need to take notes. After stealing missiles equipped with a deadly chemical called VX gas, rogue military mercenaries led by Francis C. Hummel take an Alcatraz tour group and the Bay Area hostage in order to get reparations for 83 families who lost loved ones in a military operation so secret the soldiers were not given military funerals and families were not paid benefits. The U.S. government plans not to pay the $100 million ransom, but instead send in a Navy SEAL team along with a chemical weapons expert and the only man ever to escape from Alcatraz to help them get back in. The chemical expert is Stanley Goodspeed, an audiophile Beatlemaniac known for compromising his own safety in order to keep those around him safe. He's also a newly engaged commitment phobe whose girlfriend is pregnant with Goodspeed's baby. And our Alcatraz escapee, John Patrick Mason, is an unjustly imprisoned MI6 and SAS agent who has spent the past 30 years behind bars by the U.S. government, denied due process due to his knowledge of top secret info and his tendency to be a loose cannon. But after they break into Alcatraz and the entire SEAL team is killed, it's up to Goodspeed and Mason to foil Hummel's plan and save San Francisco. As Stanley Goodspeed, we have Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage. As John Patrick Mason, we have Academy Award winner Sean Connery. As General Francis C. Hummel, we have Academy Award Francis X. Hummel. Sorry,
were you thinking John C. McGinley?
No, I was reading Francis C. Hummel from the paper.
I think it's X.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This was a cop. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. And then Academy, I'm trying to remember if Ed Harris, I know he didn't win the Oscar for Apollo 13. I don't think he won for Apollo a few years later either, but multiple time Academy Award nominee Ed Harris as General Francis X. Hummel. And like in the support, we have a almost literal army of 90s character actors backing up Hummel, like David Morse, John C. McGinley, Tony Todd, Bokeem Woodbine, William Sanderson I see William Sanderson in there too. I don't know
William
his name.
Sanderson? I don't remember William Sanderson.
No.
Possible.
And then on the other side of it, on the law enforcement side, you've got John Spencer as Womack.
Womack.
So it's one of my favorite things is when
So
Connery
good.
says, Womack, I might have known. And you've got him, you got William Forsythe, who almost never plays such a likable character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I love him in this. He's totally, I'm like,
He has a
waiting for him to
really
be
sweet
dickhead.
moment with
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage when Nicolas Cage like realizes what he's being asked to do and like goes to barf in the bathroom, and he kind of goes in there to just kind of like,
Yeah.
talk him through it. And
Yeah. He doesn't give him shit. He does the right thing. He's like a good coach.
yeah, I liked it.
He's great. Yeah. And then you've got Carla Gugino, who's in there. He's in there as Mason's estranged daughter.
Not Carla Gugino.
No,
That's,
not Carla. Claire Forlani.
Claire Forlani. Yeah.
Claire Forlani. Yes.
Yep.
Wrong. Sorry. I always
Close.
used to get them confused.
Close.
And here we go. Yeah. Anyone else who
You didn't mention Michael Biehn,
I didn't mention Michael Biehn. Sorry.
one of the
Yeah.
Navy SEALs.
Oh, right. Yeah. Mike, he's the commander of the Navy SEAls. And
We got Tuco Salamanca. I forget the actor's name from Breaking Bad.
right.
He's there. We have Anthony Clark as a hairdresser, which is the one character I think we would love to all erase from this movie.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not a Michael Bay cinematic classic without two-dimensional stereotypes.
yeah, insensitivity.
Yeah.
I think Jim Caviezel is one of like the F-18 pilots.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Jim Caviezel is in there.
David Bowe is in there. He's
And Todd
one of the-
Todd Luizzo, right.
Todd Luizzo.
David Bowe, Bobo the Clown is
Papa the Clown, right? Our friend from
right.
UHF.
He's in there. He's in that like kind of opening scene where they establish. I love it because they foreshadow the whole thing with the needle in the heart later.
Oh, everything pays off. Everything is set up, it pays off, and it's set up in such a way that's enjoyable to watch. That whole opening scene where you see how great of a chemical expert and explosives tech Goodspeed is, and relatively cool under pressure given the circumstances, and just a complete whiz. Yes, everything in that moment totally rules. I love it. Yeah. It's so weird. It shows off his kind of goofball personality, but like when it's time to snap into gear, he snaps in right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about him is like, yeah, he's a little bit weird. He's a little bit off. And damn it, Philip Baker Hall. Sorry, there's the
Philip Baker Hall.
The other name there, Stuart Wilson. Like,
which one is Stuart Wilson?
Stuart Wilson was the bad guy in, was it The Mask of Zorro or The Legend of Zorro? One of the Antonio Banderas, but he's like one of the generals in this. Anyway, but it was, so much fun. And I and the thing with these actors, so you've got all these character actors, and I think what I was doing a lot of thinking about kind of like what sets this apart from a lot of the other Michael Bay movies, and actually like including Bad Boys. And really I was thinking about this in comparing it to Bad Boys in a lot of ways, because I like this a lot more. But I was like, I think what's more, because with Bad Boys is you've got Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, who are not established movie stars at that point.
True.
So it's like these actors, even though they're really committed, they're committed to it, and they're doing like their best work. They're not just, there for the paycheck, but they're solidified enough in their status, in their careers, that they feel like they can have fun, like that is their having fun, like they are enjoying themselves, I think, because they have like, and that's, I think about Nicolas Cage coming off of something like Leaving Las Vegas and doing this next, and it's like, of course, if you spent all that time with that character, and for those who maybe haven't seen Leaving Las Vegas, he plays a screenwriter who decides to drink himself to death.
Yeah, his plan is to go to Las Vegas and literally drink himself to death.
Yes,
that there's no lightness to that.
No,
it is heavy. You need to do something like The Rock after that,
right? Yeah. And I mean, also like, and maybe to a lesser extent, you look at Ed Harris, who, had always, balanced out his career, but mostly did serious roles, even in, something like State of Grace, great flick. He's, it's still very serious, very focused. Apollo 13, failure is not an option. Imagine having to do that thing like for 20 takes.
Well, also to play the villain in a movie who, and I'm gonna go for it.
Spoiler alert.
Kind of comes to like sees reason at a certain point and goes against all of his like co-mercenaries. He has a conscience.
He has
and so it's not just like a simple villain character.
No.
He's a complicated guy.
Yes.
So also like this is somebody who has been wanting to do this for a long time, but doesn't do it until after his wife has died. Because at that point, he's got nothing left. So he's not going to carry out this mission while he still has a loved one around. And then, once she's gone, it's time for him to take action and do something that's been like eating away at him. And
there's that conscience again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's got good reasons.
He has good reasons. Unfortunately, some of the people he aligns himself with are, not great. We also love David Morse, the bad guy doing the right thing at a certain point.
Oh, that's a great moment there. And it's been such a long time. I feel like every time I've watched this movie, I think it's like I've kind of peter out towards the end. So, but to watch it again this time and that moment where you're like, oh, what's he going to do? And David Morse does still really well. And his eyes are just so like, he doesn't even have to like move his eyes. They're very expressive. And on the topic of actors and actors really getting to do like, getting to do what makes them so great and what makes them them.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think of Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
During this movie. And I'm thinking about Michael Biehn in this movie, and I'm thinking about Michael Biehn in other movies. And it's like, this guy never played a character that wasn't like kind of calm, cool, and collected. Even when he's in the heat of battle, even when it's like aliens and everything is going around, it's like his two modes are like, I've got experience and I know what I'm doing and I don't need to be overly expressive about it.
Yeah.
Or it's that same thing, but it's in the intensity of battle. It's the scene when, when they're cornered in the shower room.
The shower room is so ridiculous.
Yeah. And they've got, all he's yelling and he's got that great lines that he says, we've spilled the same blood in the same mud.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Some great, I mean, there are some quotes in this that are ridiculous, but there are other quotes that are like, man, that's like, I love this interplay between them because it really shows them connecting on a level, but him saying like, I am ultimately like he's like, I agree with you, but when it comes down to it, you are attacking this country.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he also has the line of like, we swore an oath to protect our country from, terrorists, foreign and domestic.
Yeah. And
also it's one thing I love about this movie is that the group of villains, they're not some foreign country. They're not some country that, we're, always kind of maybe on the verge of being in war with.
Right.
But they are American citizens. And then even more so, they're like Marines. Yeah.
And who have been, and you think about too, like, what these soldiers go through and what they put themselves through, what they experience, especially soldiers who see battle. And, we know Hummel is not just a veteran of Desert Storm, but also a veteran of Vietnam, and not to mention countless other military operations
that we don't even know about.
Right. And like, these are things that take a toll on people, and for them to come back and just kind of be like, all right, you've served your purpose. Like, here's a few bucks. It's why Born on the 4th of July is so, totally, a wonderfully, impactful and powerful movie.
Right.
But he's
well,
there.
Also, for Hummel, Ed Harris's character, he does have these moments throughout where you're just like, okay, interesting. Like, I don't love this guy because I'm being told that he's the villain, but like, when they get to Alcatraz and there's a tour group and he goes to these like little girls and he's just like, hey, why don't you go, tell your mom that you're not feeling well and you have to.
They're on a field trip. He goes, go tell
tell
your teacher that like you need to go back on the ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's very much it's very much a like, this is the last resort. We've tried everything else. He makes the point several times, and other characters do as well, that he's appealed to Congress, and he has tried going about the, appropriate channels.
Yeah. Also, when we have not his opening scene, but like the first scene where there's like action stuff, for him, it's when his group is, stealing the missiles and the VX gas that they're going to be using. They just use tranquilizer darts. They don't kill the people that they're stealing the stuff from. They're just knocking them out. And it's like, yeah, they're just like, these people are just doing their jobs. We're just going to knock them out.
Right. We're
not here to kill these people.
They're trying to accomplish their goal, without the loss of life, which is something that and Hummel, and I do see, I guess we've already sounded the spoiler alert. So
yeah, you want me to do it again?
Yeah, you might as well.
Spoiler alert.
Because it is kind of a deflating moment, and you almost like, you get the frustration of the soldiers who followed him because Hummel is such a strong leader. But when he goes like, we bluffed and they called it, and you realize like, these guys didn't know that they were bluffing.
Right.
These guys thought they were serious about it, and people signed on to do this with him because they thought he was serious about it, and I think like, it's something that I feel like with Ed Harris's performance, you get that where he's like, oh shit. Like at the end, when he realized when they're not going to follow him, and Tony Todd, and they all,
when Candyman becomes Rocket Man.
Candyman becomes Rocket Man. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was waiting for all the bees to come swarming on him when he got impaled. Man, I haven't seen the original Candyman in a long time.
Oh, it's good.
I like that movie. All right. But back to that's a long ways away.
Yeah. Also, it's like the VX gas and like the prop design is so string of pearls configuration. Like, it's so effective. I'm wearing green in honor of VX gas, by the way.
Oh, okay.
It's such a cool prop, and it comes back in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He has the prop of the VX gas, which is just like so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a great little moment. And it creates that tension of like, when one of the like pearls like falls and is like bouncing around, and you're just like, no, don't break. What's going to happen? Like, you have all of those moments where the tension just rises and rises and rises. And we're sounding the spoiler alert button, but honestly, like, you could know how this movie ends, and I've seen it, a bunch of times. I've seen the way that it ends, but like, it doesn't matter. It's fun from beginning to end, no matter what. And it's so satisfying every step of the way.
And it's got like, it's the Michael, even like coming back to it now, because right at the time Michael Bay had not established all of the tropes of the Michael Bay cinematic universe.
I'd say between this and Armageddon, that's what really solidified it. And then he did all the Transformers-y things and whatever else.
But I also think he kind of like I'm going to say peaked with Armageddon, because I think that Armageddon, even though I might ultimately like have The Rock like notched a little higher,
I do,
than Armageddon,
but still fun.
But Armageddon is still, it's kind of like Michael Bay using his powers in the right way, and it doesn't. The other Michael Bay movies, I think they started to like overstay their welcome, and with The Rock, it's like it's always moving, even when the action is still. Like when they're stuck in the prison cells. When
oh my god,
yeah. There's
how
still
in the name of Satan's butthole did you open the door?
Oh, right. And I know, and I love that you came out of this, and that was cool. And when you did that, right. How did you get out of the cell? And meanwhile, like, Connery's just sitting there putting this thing together.
Oh, just being awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and also, but then also, like, for some of these actors who are coming off of these big serious roles, having the opportunity to work with Sean Connery and just like do something really fun. Well, there's something to that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I do think, thinking about kind of Connery's career, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Entrapment in forever. I don't remember if I saw Entrapment. I feel like
the one shot, and that's all that matters.
I saw the trailers for Entrapment, so
yeah,
there. And then of course, like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, infamously.
What year was Finding Forrester?
Oh, was that like 2000? I think that was 2000.
Something around there. I couldn't remember if it was like late 90s, early 2000s. Even though he had his Zardazes and stuff like that, like he'll always be the original James Bond, and there's nobody that can ever take that away from him. And he gets to kind of just do what he wants to do, I think.
Yeah,
and
his 90s his 90s movies are kind of fun, because he had his end of the 80s from The Untouchables.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, the 80s are so interesting for him. The Name of the Rose, which is a fascinating little movie. But The Untouchables, he wins the Oscar for that.
Right.
And then, the Presidio, which is not a bad movie, but
I don't think I ever saw that one.
That was minor, but then it hits like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Hunt for Red
so
October.
Good. Yeah.
There's a bunch of others in here. Rising Sun, I know the Rising Sun caught like a lot of flack, but I remember liking that one. But then the 90s, it's kind of like after The Rock. He's got The Avengers in 98, which that notorious. Playing by Heart. You ever see Playing by Heart?
What's that one?
That is I want to say Nick Cassavetes directed it. Never mind. Willard Carroll. It's kind of an ensemble like thing about like romance, relationships, of different people of different ages. So like Ellen Burstyn and Sean Connery are a couple.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one.
Like,
okay.
Angelina Jolie and I think like Ryan Philippe are a couple.
Interesting.
And I think one of them is HIV positive. Jon Stewart is in it. I remember enjoying it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like The Rock is really kind of like Sean Connery, especially as that like leading man action type. Like this is kind of the last one.
Totally. And he's so much fun in it, and he does a great job, and you just buy his character. We didn't even talk about his, like, all of the pre-Alcatraz sequences with him.
Oh, Yeah.
First they get him into like an interrogation room. He's got this long, stringy, greasy hair, and he has the great moment of like, smushing a quarter so he can cut the glass and the thing and Womack. And then we have the whole him taking a shower and getting everything at the Fairmount Hotel.
Which, by the way, my theory is that Sean Connery never once listened to "If you're going to San Francisco, put some flowers in your hair."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either.
No, it doesn't matter.
But it's like, what song are you singing?
Yeah. But
don't forget to wear the flowers in your hair.
Stuart,
if you're going.
That whole sequence is very ridiculous. The haircut, of course, is what the haircut is. We talked about that a little bit. And then the entire chase sequence with like the Lamborghini and the Hummer and the motorcycle,
the streets of San, the
streetcar,
the streetcar, yeah,
the Palace of Fine Arts, like if it was just that sequence alone, this movie would have had more action than 99% of movies, and they're just like, this is just we haven't even gotten to Alcatraz yet.
San Francisco street chase.
Yeah, but what I love about it is that this is at the end of all of this is the moment when Mason realizes maybe that Goodspeed is somebody he can trust, because Goodspeed overhears him trying to connect with his daughter, and the whole reason why he did all of this stuff was so that he could look decent and not like a criminal trying to reconnect with his daughter before he goes off and does this thing.
And Goodspeed totally does him a solid.
He does him a big solid. He's pissed at him, but he does him a big solid. And, there are just those little moments throughout where Mason sees Goodspeed for the good person that he is. And, of course, when it's time to help out, he has his moment of, his conscience kicks in, and yeah, they're such a great duo. I think they actually won like best duo or something like that for like the MTV Movie Awards.
I mean, they really did make a great pairing.
They did
in this. They seemed to have a lot of fun, and I don't know. I didn't really dig deep on any research and looking into like, did Cage and Connery get along?
I didn't hear anything about them not getting along.
No. I mean, like, yeah. Why? It seems like everything. Like I'm just scrolling through that. It's Zeus's butthole.
Zeus's butthole. Right.
But yeah, there's. I mean, nothing. Oh, actually, apparently, according to IMDb trivia, so take that with a giant chunk of salt. Mm-hmm. Connery accepted the part after learning that Nicolas Cage had been cast.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool.
And apparently, Quentin Tarantino did uncredited writing on the script.
I feel like he must have just done a little, like, I don't know. Maybe some of the stuff like with the, him being like into the Beatles and vinyl and, those kind of little character moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he did.
I could see that being Tarantino.
I know he did some script stuff for Crimson Tide.
Did he?
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, like I think he was on set and like Denzel Washington kind of gave him shit for, using the N-word in his script.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I guess that had been like a point of like contention between Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson, but not like seriously.
Quentin Tarantino just like refuses to accept that people might not want him to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's for some reason. Yeah.
If Denzel Washington got mad at me for anything I was doing, I would change my entire personality.
Yes, absolutely. No, his approval would mean everything.
Point out that according to Wikipedia,
not even.
I did write it down.
Yeah.
Michael Bay had English Mastiff. In 2017, Michael Bay mentioned an idea for a follow-up to The Rock. It says never developed past the had a few dogs. He had an English Mastiff that he had named Mason after John Patrick Mason, who was in Bad Boys 2 and I believe Transformers. So I love that Michael Bay, like, I don't know, loved the Mason character so much he named his dog after him. It's just so sweet.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to point out that according to Wikipedia, Michael Bay mentioned an idea for a follow-up to The Rock. It says never developed past the concept that Goodspeed and Mason are chased by the government after escaping due to possession of the
Spoiler alert.
microfilm as shown in the ending. But in 2017, like, Connery was pushing 90 at that point. I mean, he passed away in 2020.
Yeah.
But
he was also, his health was in decline at that. Yeah.
You could not have done that. Like, we'll talk about what we would have done in a moment, but like, you know, what would he expect that was going to be like?
Well, I guess there's a reason why it never got past the,
animated
concept.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fine. Here we go. Dan, what would you do to for The Rock these days?
Okay, all right. So here we go. There's a couple of ideas. I did not. I asked myself a question. I wrote a note saying, "Is there a video game?" Because it does have a really good structure for a video game, and even like a VR, because like have the moments where you have to like take the homing chips out of the
guidance chips out of the missiles.
Guidance chips right out of the missiles, and like handling the VX gas. So it's like having sequences like that, but also sequences where you're driving through the streets of San Francisco, and so things like that. It could potentially be like a really fun VR game, but also just a like video game. I think it's set up, it's conducive to that without being necessarily one of those movies where it's like, oh, it's a video game. Yeah. I've seen movies where I've just left and I was like, oh, that was a video game. So there's idea one. And then I'll lay the other two on you. Now, interestingly enough, my idea is somewhat similar to Michael Bay's idea, where and where it's not Mason, but where it's, Goodspeed is being pursued. They realize that Goodspeed has the that he has the microfilm, or had the microfilm in his possession, and so the government has to find someone to get it from him, and of course they have to get the ultimate expert in the retrieval of such things, which would be Nicolas Cage's character in National Treasure.
Oh, yes.
So it would be Nicolas Cage would have to steal the microfilm back from Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Which definitely sounds like the plot of a Nicolas Cage movie, though also unbearable weight of massive talent.
Right, but also it's a combination of that and then also like adaptation where you have like two Nicolas Cages.
Right.
Yeah.
And it turns into an action movie. So there's that like, National Treasure and The Rock crossover. But here's the idea. And so we're going to take the idea from I don't know if you'd call it just like an urban legend or just the fun little what if. Okay. And that what if is that John Mason is the actual birth name of a British agent who went by the name James Bond. And It's a whole, I mean, it's really just like Connery plays this character and there's some crossover with Bond, but I'm like, let's dig into that. Let's dig in. So let's take your movie now. I think it was, the microfilm, was that in 62 or 72 that he stole the microfilm?
Oh, that he stole the microfilm. I was like, when JFK was assassinated? I don't remember.
Anyway, so so you make the movie about it, and it's all right, whatever. Amazon's going to do whatever the fuck they want with James Bond. Here, Amazon, take it. Do this. So you're setting, you take your James Bond movie but now you're setting it back in the 60s. And it's that this James Bond, and I feel like you do kind of have to establish the idea that like James Bond is a code name. So you have that Bond is basically finds out that, and maybe it's the director of the FBI, or maybe we fictionalize it a little bit, or we change it around. I don't know, whatever it is, but James Bond has to get this, like that J. Edgar Hoover has like damning information that could bring the entire British monarchy down. And like, you know, if you are on Her Majesty's Secret Service, Her Majesty's secrets are your responsibility. And so James Bond is sent to retrieve this microfilm that contains all of these secrets and all of this compromat that J. Edgar Hoover has. So that's your part one, right?
Okay.
Now hold on, because that movie, that James Bond movie, is setting up its sequel, which is a remake of The Rock starring Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
And co-starring Timothée Chalamet as Stanley Goodspeed.
Oh, okay.
In his opportunity to become an action hero.
Got it. Okay. So what I was also wondering is there some sort of connection between like Felix Leiter and Womack? Maybe they like went to like Quantico together, and then Felix Leiter got like recruited because he was CIA, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he got like recruited over to be in the CIA or something, and
that like Womack and Leiter were like professional rivals or something like that. Or,
something like that.
Or that like maybe Leiter, like, you know, he lets Bond escape or something like that. And Womack is the up and coming young agent who's just trying to like, you know, make a big name in the bureau.
Yeah.
So yeah. Who'd you cast as who? I'm like, who'd be Womack at that point?
Womack. Yeah. I don't know. That's
so.
A tough
anyway,
one.
Those are kind of like, yeah. I mean, not really serious ideas, but I think that the whole little like conspiracy theory, not really conspiracy theory, but the whole theory about Mason actually like being James Bond and this being, you know, like Sean Connery kind of like secretly playing James Bond, like I think it's bullshit, right, but it's fun. Yeah. So I'm like, why not? Like, let's lean into that. Let's make the prequel, and then follow that up with the sequel to The Rock, where it's already set up. Like, this is, man, the United States got James Bond, and like, there's been some other James Bond. There've been a couple of other James Bonds trotting around the world since then, but like the one that stole the microfilm we've got him.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my plan. What's yours?
Okay. Well, you know, it's funny because we both kind of went with a similar theme, which is, you know, revitalizing some other IP and kind of blending it in with The Rock. And when you think about the plot of this movie, you know, there is a rogue military unit who feels that the country let them down and they're trying to get retribution in a very major and potentially catastrophic way. And there needs to be a group that is performing this like really, dare I say, impossible task? Perhaps an impossible mission? Perhaps this is Mission Impossible 9, The Rock.
Oh, see, I thought you were going in a totally different direction.
What did you think?
Well, I thought that you were going to be talking about A Team.
Oh,
specifically.
No.
I'm hearing the A Team.
The van turns into a submarine.
Dun, 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 dun,
So,
dun, dun.
doing that thing you do. Sean Whalen.
Man, throwing a tornado and it's the summer of a tornado and some aliens and it's the summer of 96.
Yeah. And then shortly after, doing that thing you do. Sean Whalen.
Of course. What else do we do at the end?
Yeah.
They go, it's like they save the day and go see the Oneaters.
They go see the Oneaters at the spaghetti joint by the airport. So anyway, yes, just kind of doing a Mission Impossible that is The Rock because, okay, let's face it. They're not ending Mission Impossible. There's no way that they're ending it.
No, but it said it was the final reckoning. Oh, no, they can't because they still have to make Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so, you know what? They may as well just like go for cash grabs here and
Dead Rocketing.
Like, you know what? We're doing The Rock. Like they just do covers of other movies with the like Mission Impossible skin on it. Why not?
I'm imagining
they
them
could
doing
do
the
Armageddon
Matrix
next. Is it Matrix?
They do that thing you do.
They do that thing you do.
What's more impossible than getting a record contract without compromising your values?
There you go. Ooh, very, very good. I like it.
Music.
I love that thing you do. Anyway, before we get on to what we're going to be talking about on our next episode, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you are watching on YouTube or Spotify or listening on whatever other platforms you want to be listening on. It's a lot of fun doing the show. This is our 290th episode.
Yeah, wow.
Isn't that nuts? And so, please, if you aren't already subscribed or following,
how in the name of Zeus's butthole did we get to 290 episodes? Sorry to interrupt you, but
I don't know, man. But yeah, rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, leave comments on Spotify and YouTube and all the other things. We love hearing from you. Email us, ruinchildhoodspot@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you would want to do with The Rock. And I would love to hear what everybody wants to do with The Rock because God damn, this movie rules. It's so much fun.
And you know what? I think it's exciting because, and I think that there is still potential because, like, man, Nick Cage is still doing it. And yeah,
still doing it.
We don't have Sean Connery, but this is one of those cases where I really think you could do, like, even if they were going to do a sequel, a legacy sequel, I think having Nicolas Cage.
Also, Goodspeed had a baby that's about to turn 30.
Oh.
And who knows what's going on with Claire Forlani's character. Like, there's a lot more we can do here.
So much ground to cover. Well.
So, like we've mentioned before, The Rock is our second R movie as we are going up and down the alphabet, A to Z, then Z to A. So this is our second R movie. We mentioned earlier, Ready to Rumble is when we were going up the alphabet. The Rock is going down. So Q is our next movie. So Dan, last time we did Q the Winged Serpent, and I don't know how we're going to top that, but why don't you tell us what we're doing next?
Well, next we're going from rock to rockers. Those are the rockers that fight the mods. And who are the mods, you ask? Well, who? The Who's
We are the mods. We are the mods.
We are the mods. We are the mods. We are the No, yeah, we're doing Quadrophenia from 1979, directed by Frank Rodham, starring Phil Daniels, Leslie Ash, Ray Winstone, and a young baby-faced Sting.
Yep,
popping
Face
up in
indeed.
there. Oh, and Timothy, young Timothy Spall, but so, and based on the
Phil Daniels. I think there's also a Phil
there is
Davis.
also Phil Davis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got Phil's.
And of course, the, unseen stars of the movie, Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend, John Entwistle, and Keith Moon, The Who.
Right.
So
absolutely. I'm excited. That's going to be a fun one.
I'm psyched to talk about Quadrophenia.
Yeah, better go gas up the scooter, my man.
Oh, yeah. Head down to Brighton.
Yeah, well, while you are on your way to chase John Patrick Mason down the streets of San Francisco, I wish you a good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey.
Good journey, Womack.